this video, we're going to talk about one super simple trick to make your lyrics sound more like poetry, so they're absolutely brimming with depth and meaning rather than simply being lost in mediocrity. This simple trick is simply following the old adage, show, don't tell. So for our first example, we are going to look at the chorus lyrics of the song Dance with the Devil by Breaking Benjamin. The lyrics are, say goodbye as we dance with the devil tonight. Don't you dare look at him in the eye as we dance with the devil tonight. So the image here is obviously dancing with the devil and specifically making sure not to look him in the eye. And you probably picked up on this, but this song is not about doing the tango with the devil. Really what this song is talking about is imploring someone to not go over the edge with something like alcohol or drug abuse and not end up taking their own life. So if this song was communicated in a literal way instead, it might say something like, say goodbye, stop playing with drugs tonight, or something like that. Something that wouldn't be nearly as poetic or interesting. And then another bonus that we get from using imagery here is that we can kind of apply it to a bunch of different things. So if we are dealing with a friend with depression or a friend with drug issues or alcohol issues, it's not specific to any of those things, so we all can relate. Compare this to if the song was specific about maybe dealing with alcoholism, that would only apply to a smaller subset of people. So I don't know about you, but I much prefer the poetic imagery that we get from the idea of dancing with the devil utilized in this song. So in our second example, let's pick a very different genre and go with Last Train Home by John Mayer. The chorus lyrics say, I'm not a fallen angel, I just fell behind. I'm out of luck and I'm out of time. If you don't want to love me, let me go. I'm running for the last train. I'm running for the last train home. So the image here is that there's only one last train going home tonight, or maybe forever, and he needs to catch it before it's too late. And again, I'm sure you guessed this, but this is not about John Mayer catching the Amtrak back to Connecticut. Instead, especially if we take it in context of the song, this seems to be communicating this longing for a long-term stable relationship that maybe he could have a family with or kids with, because he understands he's getting older and time is running out for that type of relationship. But again, this comes across as more poetic and more interesting than simply laying out exactly what he is saying. Now, don't confuse this with purposefully obscuring what he is trying to say, because in the song, it's pretty clear what this concept of last train home is saying. I'm too old for casual relationships is way less interesting and way less poetic than I need to catch the last train home. And with our final example, we're gonna go way back in time to Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. Now, I would argue that this song is a masterclass in poetic lyrics and in show, don't tell, but we will specifically pick on the first verse and chorus for this example. So the first verse says, rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. Then the chorus says, I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. So really the image here is first looking at clouds with wonder, presumably when one is younger, and then looking at clouds with maybe a more cynical mindset, presumably when one is older. And once again, clouds are not the point. Clouds are simply a proxy to the actual point that Joni's trying to make here. So we sort of have this youthful hope and wonder view of clouds, and then also a very practical and maybe a bit cynical take on clouds. And I think we all somewhat connect with this because I think we all remember the days of our youth when maybe we were filled with wonder a little more easily by looking up at the night sky. When's the last time that you looked up at the sky at the clouds and said, ooh, that looks like a bunny, and ooh, that looks like a dog? We don't do that as adults. That's something that only children tend to do. And then when we become adults, we look at the clouds and we say, oh no, it's tornado season. Maybe we're gonna get a tornado today, or I hope it doesn't rain because we've gotten too much rain lately and my plants are gonna drown. So in this song, Joni Mitchell is showing us rather than telling us all this by utilizing the clouds as a proxy for what she's really trying to say about seeing clouds or seeing life from both sides now, from the more hopeful, youthful view and a more cynical, older view. Now, certainly there are a bunch of different ways to make our lyrics more poetic, but one of the easier, great ways to do it is to leverage show, don't tell. Utilize imagery rather than just saying something directly. Instead of being so quick to tell people things, try to figure out if there's a way that you can show them something instead. Because opting to utilize imagery as a proxy for what you're trying to say often results in more depth, and it also can be a great way to make more people relate to what you're saying. So often utilizing imagery as the proxy for the literal thing that you are sort of trying to say can be a great way to make your lyrics be more deep and more poetic. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, something else you'll likely find helpful is my free 6-step lyric writing checklist. If we just stare at a blank page and will ourselves to just improvise poetry, that's a great way to set ourselves up to fail. It's not a talent issue if you're not proud of your lyrics. It's probably just a process issue. So be sure to grab that 6-step lyric writing checklist. My free gift to you, link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll talk to you in the next one.